talk about something. And you know what that is? School. It's a very big topic for me and you probably. Now, if you're sitting here and you're thinking, why should I listen to this guy talk about school? I already know everything about school. Now, I'm not knocking, but let's talk about something. Why are we talking about school? Because it's a mess. Because something they don't tell you. Because they're afraid. If you find out about something about school, you won't even want to learn because it's so crazy that people believe in this occult. School is an occult. Now, you may disagree, but occult means hidden, or it's not evil. Anyway. Now, whether your views on school, whether it's right or wrong, over the years, I have found out something to be true and some inadequate knowledge that you may have in your mind. Now, when you think of school, what do you think? Higher education. You probably enjoy, going to school because of your friends. Most people dread going to school. Most people enjoy going to school. However, I hate going to school, but that's besides the point. And I'm going to drive home what it needed to be said. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because a lot of people, for me, I want to be authentic through the videos, through the word that I'm passionate about telling the subject to the people, whoever there. If I can get my point across, my point of view across, through you as the audience who's watching this, that we as a society as a whole, we view school as a one-way street. We think like school is the all and be all and that's it. We tend to think that if you go to school a certain amount of years, you become successful. That's what most people would say, And if you don't go to school, my whole life I've been surrounded by, not only by my friends, but I am surrounded by adults, figures. I get along with them because, I don't know, I get along with them. I don't know why. But they're good teachers, They're good teachers, but their understanding of how the reality or the real world work, Most people say school is important. Why is it important? We have to look at the deeper point, deeper view of school. What is it actually school? Well, if you think about it, you're sitting on a chair. You're sitting in class and you're listening to the teacher lecture, right? But many of us have a different learning style, right? Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you, I hate and I despise school with a passion. Now, most people say, how can you say that? That's a hateful word. No, you got to understand, I didn't tell you why I hate it. You see, when I was a kid, I was put from kindergarten to 5th grade through middle school and through high school as a special ed. And I don't know why I was in special ed. They said I need a calculator, which you don't need to. If you understand math, you don't need a calculator. But when it get hard, yeah, you get the point. And they said you have learning disability for special ed. See, I never understand what does that mean. Not in the sense of learning disability. I don't think I have a learning disability. No, but to the fact that I feel like I was unworthy. Because once you label a kid a special ed, not the kid who have Down syndrome, but who's actually who actually can comprehend and work their mind and see things, Because, see, here's the thing. Most people believe in special ed, they're dumb, they're slow, they're mentally retarded, they don't know nothing. Their brain is not working. They're incorrect. The reason why that is because when you have low self-esteem and people put you down and say you're not worthy in your special ed, that means you're going to act differently. It's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you're not going to act your best. You're not going to be going out of your comfort zone to improve the condition that you were in. Now, school, school teach you only general knowledge until you go to college where you have major, and still, yeah, they don't teach you a lot of things that you should know and that you should be learning. So what are those subjects that I keep preferring to you? Well, let's start off what school actually is. Now, I'm not here. I hate school, but I love education. Now, the education that I'm preferring to is a different version of educating. You see, most people after they either graduate high school or college, they never pick up a book again. They said the average American read the one book per year, and that's not. I mean, of course, novel is pleasure, but that's not what I'm talking about. And that's very disappointing. It's because they were burned out by school, because school force you to read the thing that you don't like to read, and usually you shouldn't be reading those books anyway. And the school, they teach us in a left brain style, very logical. There's no creativity. I guess they have some, try to put it in the curriculums, but school in general, if you actually go back to the history of school, what's actually is school, like we never actually go deep to why we go to school in the first place. If you look at it from kindergarten to 5th grade, what they're actually doing is molding you into a person to work for somebody else. Now, we never actually think about that, but it's true. I know people said you need a job. Of course, I get that. But if you actually understand that they're actually, most people dread going to school. Say they hate Monday. They say thank God it's Friday. They're looking for the weekend. Some stuff like that. There's a reason for it. Now, I was listening to this guy named Seth Godin. Amazing guy. He have a great book called Purple Cow. And I was listening to his talk with I forgot his name, but he was talking about, if you look back to the history why school was built. School was built for the rich. That's why most people don't understand that school is actually a business. That's why when you go to college, most people don't understand that school don't really care about your well-being, or your educational or your being successful. What they care about is money, and trying to elude you to get into student loan debt, so you become enslaved by the student loan debt, because there's no way out for student loan debt. You cannot be forgiven. That's bankruptcy and right now the whole, what was it? Here's the thing that people don't understand. That most people think that if you go to school, you will be somebody. Oh, you will be somebody if you choose your own path to go to. Now, here's the thing. From kindergarten to 5th grade, they're actually molding your mind to be obedience of the system. The system I'm referring to you is that you go to work, you don't disobey the boss. You have to listen to whatever. Basically, a drone. A robotic, mindless zombies. That's what you are. You don't get out of line. You don't do what you want. You just do the same thing over and over again, and you're caught in the wheel of the machine. From that, what they're molding you into is you're gonna work from 9 to 5. So that's why they make it early to 5, or that's why they let you out early. And then that's what I read in the entrepreneurship book, where basically Henry Ford says that make it from Monday to Friday. That's why you think about it, school Monday to Friday, same thing as a job, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. That if you have the weekends off, you will consume more, you will buy more things, and then you'll be more productive. And when you go back, you need more. You need the money, and then you go back. It's a wheel, right? It's non-stop. But we never actually figure out why. They were actually built for the rich, not for society as a whole. Now, I'm not knocking on the rich, but it's true. Now, we were never taught about a lot of things that we should have been taught. Communication skills when we were a kid. You probably had to take a class, but we were never taught that. We were never taught how the brain works. How, say, people say you're special, but they never teach you how to use your short-term or how to transfer short-term memory to long-term memory. That's how you use vocabulary. If you think about it, most people, when you're on tests, they on English, for me, I remember they give you a whole bunch of vocabulary words, and you can't remember them all, right? And you try to, and you say, I got it, get an A, but then a short while you forget that, because it's only been like short-term memory. It hasn't transferred into long-term memory. What you should do is to effectively remember the vocabulary. For instance, paradigm, or some sophisticated word that you might be using. Take that one word out and use it to your everyday life, and then make your mind remember, to transfer into your into the long-term memory. You can create new memories in the where you create new brain cells is the hippocampus. Now, school have not taught you how the brain cell actually work. Now, if you actually read those things, so what subject that we didn't get taught? Well, school also didn't teach you how to actually get a job, or how to actually get the interview and actually get a job and you get hired right away. It's a skill and it's an art. School have not taught you relationship, marketing, or sales. You need to learn how to sell. Selling is not just sell to people, but selling your ideas, your dreams, your hope, your family, selling yourself, or marketing, selling and marketing. School have not taught you marketing unless you take a business school, or unless you're taking a marketing class. Otherwise, I don't know. Of course, people take economics, but not deeply. They have not teach you how to or understand money. Now, most people get really riled up on money. Money is just a piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything. People think it is, because it's fiat money. Fiat money is about the government degree that's valuable. It has no intrinsic value. In 1971, President Nixon took off the gold standard. So the value of that money become less, and the inflation which caused, that's why they print money. It costs inflation, and we never were taught these things. They probably did, but most people never applied them to their life, or we were never taught about psychology. See, the thing is, most people think when I talk about psychology, I'm not talking about the mental illness, schizophrenia, or stuff like that. There's a movement by Martin Seligman talking about the positive psychology, because in the past, people study the mental illness, but positive psychology is where well-being and happiness. That you can create a life that's truly yours. For me, I'm talking about psychology as in understanding why you do the thing you do. Because psychology is it's basically the science of mind and behavior. Psychology is the study of. Now, if you actually truly understand human being, because most of the problem that you have is usually with another human being with hair on it. So, if you understand people perception, why people do and act the thing that you do, and you understand that, then it'll be great to the degree that you'll become successful. That's networking. If you understand networking and you understand people, then you'll be successful, but you don't necessarily need to go to school to network. That people, what they got is wrong, And here's the thing, they never actually taught how to operate from the left and the right hemisphere, because there's a link called callosum, where it's a fiber of communication between the brain. And you can actually use it, called whole brain learning, where basically if you put on music and where you can actually learn faster, it actually absorbs more faster, because when you have emotion toward it, you remember. That's how. Repetition is okay, but you tend to remember something more strongly, like what emotion. Now, they never teach you parenting skills, leadership skills that you should learn, or taxes. People always complain about taxes, but they never understand taxes, right? And there's a lot of things that I could say about school, but I think that a lot of people think that it's not the only way. It can be one way, but if you're going to, but I do agree with one thing, that if doing government type stuff like lawyers, accountant, doctor, of course you should do it, but if you're being an entrepreneur or something that doesn't require a degree, then go ahead and do it. Because I have two books here. One is from Dropped Out and Get Schooled, Patrick Bet-David, and from Hacking Your Education. These books are reviewing facts, talking about, if you think about it, Bill Gates actually dropped out Harvard to build, his company. And Steve Jobs actually dropped out, If you think about all these people, Thomas Edison and Albert Einstein, they're successful. Now, most people say you can't really become successful, what was it? You can't really be successful, or you're gonna have all these minimum wage job. Correction. You can be successful if you understand how to acquire knowledge. Most people think that school is where you acquire knowledge, but it's general knowledge. You can't actually use it. For instance, if I pick up a book about psychology, it's better telling me how to actually understand how people think. Why people buy or like the thing that they like. It's called subconscious. The thing because you have the conscious and the subconscious. The subconscious actually control your automatic behavior without thinking. It control your heart rate. It control a lot of things that you're not aware. And we have 3 brains. And you say, how can we have 3 brains? Well, we actually do. We have the reptilian brain cell, or they call it the crocodile brain, the limbic system, which control your fear center and your emotion. That's why sometimes they call it emotional brain. And then the neocortex, which is new because it new for evolutionary purposes. And then it have the two halves, the left and the right. That's where your highest function is. We separate from the animal kingdom. That I don't understand why people stop learning or reading. They hate reading. They say, why you gotta read? I don't need to read. Look, I understand you don't need to read. When I hear people always say, when I was younger, I did read a little, but there was novel. I read a lot on manga. Manga is like Japanese comic. But it's more and more interesting because they're flying, they're blasting. For instance, Dragon Ball Z. But they never taught you that it's essential to have skills. Because we live in a knowledge society world. It's not in the industrial age. Industrial is where bricks and mortar. Bricks and mortar is retail stores, restaurants. The one that they have the office. We live in a world of internet, and where I can interact with people on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, and everywhere. Facebook. We live in a tech world. Now, most people are so far behind. Most people think that you're going to school for a certain amount. They know. See, the day that you think you know it all, the day you learn something. That's why you don't have to go to school to learn something. That's why I always invest in myself. I always read. Now, most people say reading is not. People don't read anymore. It's hardly, if I talk to somebody, people don't read, people don't, they think they know it all, they stop learning. And I'm not knocking on anybody. Look, if you're still here on earth, at least learn something, either watching a YouTube video, learn something that you haven't learned. There's free courses in, was it Harvard or Yale or Stanford, they have free courses on YouTube now. So they're online free. You don't have to go to Yale or Harvard or Stanford just to learn something, new. And they may be dry. But you don't have to, because going to school or college, it costs a lot of money, Most people think it's expensive, and I think it's a worse investment. Because basically, a lot of entrepreneurs now, they do self-education. Self-education is they're buying their own books, they buy online video courses to learn. They don't have to get permission to learn. They just do. But when people go to school, they get permission to learn. That's not how I want to live. Now, what my message is, what school has never... There's a dark side to it, isn't it? What you say, you think, you believe does is true. And that what you think it isn't true at all. You see, when you change your perception, when you change the way you think and you interpret reality, your behavior changes. Not automatically, it doesn't happen overnight, but you can become successful in your own way. You can become successful not in the degree that your parents want you to, not the peers or the teacher, but your way. And you probably will win if you understand a lot of things that you need to learn in order to become successful. Not in one thing. Most people get stuck on one thing, like major. If you're studying some one subject in the field, but you have not studied on any other, because you need a compilation of skills to order to become successful. If you're going to take a degree, but you don't know how to sell or market, you're stuck. Because all you do is sell it to your friends and, whatever. In relationship, they never taught you, the thing that you should need to learn before you enter a marriage or something like that. So my message today is be eclectic. Like, don't disagree or agree. Just view it as a learning. Like, why? This is where my message is. Don't just listen to other people's opinion. Research it, seek the truth, and see what's working and what not working, and how can you make it different in your life. I'm all about improving, but it won't happen overnight. Most people are too impatient. It's about being patient enough to be able to understand that there will be time in your life that you need to grow, and it's not always easy. Most people have, and also money. People think like money is evil. How can money be evil? Money is just a piece of paper. It's not like it can move. So, and you may disagree with that. You may say, no. Just remember that school is important to the degree if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. It takes a long time to study. So, self-improving, investing in books or audio program, and what was it called? And reading, or if you're not like to read, just audio program. Invest in yourself. The highest percentage will you ever get back is investing in yourself. It's not. And they say it's not in the stock market. It's not in the investment you make. It's in yourself. So, if you want more personal development, book reviews, and I'm gonna have some fun sometime. So subscribe, like my video. I'll see you next time.